What's going on, guys, and welcome back. We have our last patch for the month of September where we see the Wakanda King get himself a buff for the first time ever, and we got a few nerfs, couple buffs, and overall, kind of meh. I'm going to give more of my thoughts at the end of the video, but, you know, listen, Activate just came to the game. Pretty exciting overall, just mechanic. I think it did land well, but I kind of felt like they were going to give it to more older cards, right? We got Hellcat, we got Black Swan, but my hope with the excitement behind Activate was that we got a lot of cards like Adam Warlock that didn't see a lot of play get the Activate ability. And I know it's a kind of a science and a beautiful dance of balancing, but that's just my thought. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. Now, this patch is interesting. I think we've got some interesting, I said that twice, nerfs, and then we've got some really okay buffs as well. Nothing ground shaking here, but let's catch you up to speed. Now let's go and start with the fun stuff, and that's the buffs. And we have Symbiote Spider-Man going from a 4/6 to a 4/7. Yet another season pass card getting a pretty immediate buff, and that's because they wanted us, the player base, to test out how we would do and see how we would handle a brand new mechanic, which is pretty fair. I think they went more on the safe side with this one. And I like Symbiote. I think he has fallen a little bit flat, but with a card that is all about combos, getting another power point, this should help him a good amount in the different decks, especially after we talk about one specific card today in Galactus, but we'll talk more on that in a moment. Overall, for me, it's a mechanical thing, not exactly how he's performing. Like, let's take Scarlet Spider, for example. Cool card, but I think everybody kind of assumed that you could play Scarlet Spider, absorb him with Symbiote, and then you could activate again. But because Activate can only happen once, that to me is what's weird and what I would hope they would change. It's probably going to lead to some broken stuff, but I do feel like, if we can bounce back cards, it would be cool for Symbiote to have the job of activating a couple times. But again, that might just be me. Now, speaking of Scarlet Spider and Symbiote Spider-Man, wanted to just quickly remind you guys that I've got a nice new channel, CozyTV, that talks about the lore of these characters. It makes it interesting for somebody that knows relatively nothing about them in a nice, quick format. And I actually want to ask you guys, which of these 4 characters, comment down below, you'll see it, should I do for the next major lore story? In the big character department, I thought I would either do Cyclops, Wolverine, Venom, because it's, October, spooky season, or Iron Man. Now, next up is the Wakanda King himself, Black Panther. The second season pass card is going from a 5/4 to a 5/5. So essentially, he's a 5/10, which is kind of the standard of 5-cost cards these days with Arrow. You got Gilgamesh that can go way higher than that. I think this is pretty cool. I want Black Panther to not just be the one freaking trick pony that he's been since he came to the game, like last October, I believe, September. He's never had a buff. I think this is actually pretty late, and he could have used this a long time ago. If you're at all competitive in the game, you know from a mile away, what the Arnim Zola plays with this guy. And that's kind of his ceiling. But it would be nice if he had a good kind of middle floor where you could just forge Aranya, whatever it might be, and you have kind of a solo vertical big jump in power, and you don't have to do the fancy stuff. That's what I would love to see with Black Panther, and I think this might accomplish it. I'm excited to see what this means for just a standard Black Panther and where it could go from here. I know they got to be really careful giving this guy power in general because, it could get out of control. So it's a nice buff to see, probably one of the more exciting today. Now, many of you guys would not have expected, but Galactus is getting a buff. What the hell? 6/5 to a 6/6. Now, the devs make a pretty good point here that we have 3-cost cards that now have 5 power, and Galactus is kind of lacking in the power department for a guy that can eat freaking planets. However, people hate Galactus, all right? I think this is going to be a mistake, mainly because we've got the Symbiote Galactus deck. If you guys are not aware, you can even do stuff with Namora to build up a symbiote, play Galactus, get it merged, and then you have this giant Galactus that's very hard to beat. And the thing is, here's the stats. I mean, it wasn't bad stats, especially at infinite play, and now we've got a buff to both those cards. So I hold your breath, but I feel like that deck could definitely really see some competitive light. For like standard Galactus decks, I'm excited for him. I think this is fine ultimately, but as far as that one combo goes in that deck, I think it's going to get a little crazy. But there are plenty of Galactus World Eater lovers, and I think this is a W. And then lastly for buffs, we have Negasonic Teenage Warhead going from a 3/2 to a 3/3. And if you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you know I'm a big fan. Big fan of Negasonic. I think this is one of the more slept on cards in the game. Just not played near enough. Really good and competitive in the right decks and surprising more importantly, especially initiative decks with like Makari, Alioth, all that good stuff. This is just good. I think people are going to play her more because of her even just getting one more point is going to entice people to play her. And she's going to be fun. I think you guys are going to enjoy her. You can do the Symbiote Spider-Man thing with her. Kind of a plug-and-play card. Most of the time, I think people would rather have something like Red Guardian, but, you know, you've got a 3/3 that can hold her own and be surprising if you have priority. So, I'll probably make a video on Negasonic and priority decks. Look out for that. I'm sure Alioth is going to be in there and some friends, but overall, good change. Now, we also have 2 buffs in the move department, both Hercules and Kraven getting a little bit of a power increase, which, you know, I'm surprised on. Surprised that move did get some love after all the new move cards, but both of these don't always make the final cut. I think Kraven is going to really welcome this change, and Hercules, he's still going to be played where he's played overall. So these are the 4 cards that got a buff. Again, nothing like ground shaking or meta changing massively, but, you know, we might see some more Symbiote Spider-Man, especially paired with Galactus. Now, guys, we head to the nerfs, and I'm going to be honest with you. They're head-scratching. One of them in particular, if you guys haven't already, great infomercial, been kind of circulating the web. The Set It and Forget It Hela guide, I'll go ahead and put the link in the description. Great infomercial on the easiest deck to play in Marvel Snap. And the thing with Hela is, it's not even that she is going to win every single game, but a lot of people hate playing her when she gets a lot of popularity. And so, in my opinion, we got our first nerf, but isn't a nerf, and I'll explain why. Hela is going from a 6/6 to a 6/7, but now the cards that she responds are going to have -3 power, not -2. Yep, that's it. That's going to be the nerf and the buff. And if you play Hela, you would know this is the deck that's on the infomercial and just trending everywhere. And you notice anything about it if you guys have an eagle eye. That's Luke Cage right there. That's Luke Cage. And what does he do? Oh, yeah, he stops negative power. So I feel like the top Hela deck right now has Luke Cage anyway. She kind of then got buffed in that regard, if you look at it that way. So I don't know. I think that they want to nerf her and make it look like a nerf so that more people stop playing the deck, but I don't think that's going to happen because it's Hela. It's very easy, and again, that infomercial is a banger. Again, let me know what your thoughts are here, but it's puzzling to say the least. Next up, we've got Marvel Boy going from a 3/2 to a 3/1. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't know, you'll know now, Zoo is one of the best decks in the game right now. Very consistent, and I don't know if anybody would have said it's purely because of Marvel Boy. To me, it's Gilgamesh. And in fact, they even say in their reasoning that Gilgamesh was a big reason to nerf this card because he can go so high and win a lane. You know, now we've got some Ravonna synergy with him. Maybe get Dracula, get a Dracula dump deck. Overall, though, I don't know. I don't think he really needed that change. Is it going to impact him all that much? Probably not. His stats really good, especially if you get the squirrels and whatnot out there. So this, I don't expect to impact much people at all. If you got him, don't fret. He's still going to be a good card. I'm just surprised Gilgamesh avoided this. In fact, Gilgamesh and Hellcow were the 2 cards I thought might be touched up. Instead, we got Hela and Marvel Boy. And then last but not least, we've got War Machine, who's going from a 4/7 to a 4/6. I mean, we all saw this coming. He became one of the best cards in the game. They even said, pure stats-wise, like, he offers so much flexibility, just very good stats. And he just went up to 4/7. Now he's back to 4/6, which I still think is fine. He's going to be just fine. Let me tell you, this ability is really what you love about him. 4/7 was a little cherry on top. And also, he doesn't have, like, great stats, but they're still pretty good stats. And I see War Machine not getting all that much affected here. I thought maybe they would touch up Legion or change up some of the stuff, but I'm just glad that they're keeping his ability as is. So there you guys have it, all the buffs, all the nerfs, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to echo what I said at the beginning of the video. Kind of meh, right? Like, we don't see another OTA for a while. We got a new season coming, but I wanted to see them kick off this new roadmap announced mechanic and activate with a lot of old cards that could use the love, and I think OTAs are the perfect time to do so now that we have the ability, technical-wise, when they do these balance patches. And maybe, again, I'm alone. I would love to see Zabu, love to see Adam Warlock, some of these other ones, at least get a chance. And if they're crazy, they do a quick, patch to fix them. But overall, this is what we got. So let me know down in the comments below, what do you think the most impactful is? The least impactful, and if you haven't already, 50% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, and we are almost at 150K. We're climbing. We're at 141, and that number's going up. So it means a lot if you enjoy these videos and want to support me as a creator. Click the red subscribe button. Anyway, guys, have a good one. Have a great one. Till the next one. Happy snapping.